All right, so we are moving. We are cooking with gas. Let me see who's in here. Say something. Let me know who you. Let me know that you're here. Let me know who you are. Let me see. I see Adrian and Herbert and Mildred and Mitchell and Osai. And Herbert says I'm early. Good. Well, I'm glad you're early because I was early too. So okay, I see some hands up already. It looks like Herbert has his hand up. So Herbert says he's early. So Herbert, you're gonna be the man. You're gonna be the first one I'm gonna bring in here, Herbert. So go ahead and get ready. Put your wig on. I'm playing. Maybe it's okay. If you wore a wig, Herbert, I would not make fun of you. All right, so get ready. I'm gonna bring Herbert in, and 3, 2, 1, and go. Let's see if we can unmute him. Hey, Herbert, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, Doc.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing very well, thank you. What city you in?
I'm in Oakland, California.
Oaktown. Oh man, I love Oakland. Y'all have real black people in Oakland. I mean, really real black people.
Not like we used to.
Really? It's changing?
Man, gentrification has really done a number in Oakland now.
Wow. Well, maybe we can bring it back. Or maybe I know that Oakland spirit's out there somewhere. And I know when I go to Oakland.
But the change, having grown up in Oakland, the change has been so dramatic. And it's too expensive. I mean, if you moved out of Oakland and tried to move back, you'd be hard pressed to.
Yeah. I heard that. I heard that Oakland and a few other places are getting kind of expensive. And that's an interesting topic in itself. What's on your mind, brother?
Well, I just wanted to, give you a shout out, man. I've been following you for quite some time, kind of in the background, so to speak. And I'm just, I look at you for motivation. I'm a little older than you, but, it's good to see a brother such as yourself trying to create a blueprint for a lot of us to follow. And I wish somebody like you came along years ago, but I'm just going to grab a hold on now while I can and, see where the train takes me.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much for those kind words, but I respect you for that. Let me ask you, so how has this journey, let me ask you this first of all, did you go to the All Black National Convention?
You know what, I had just got back from Atlanta and was not able to. I wish I would have been able to, but, I kind of followed along a little bit. But when I got back in town, I was so busy that I wasn't able to like I was when you had it last year.
Yeah, it's okay, man. I don't be anybody in here. Don't be ashamed if you didn't go to the convention. This is a question I was asking. I hope everybody will consider the 2019 convention. The 2018 convention was off the chain. We did a customer satisfaction survey to make sure everybody was happy and people loved it. The overall feelings that everybody says, I love it. I would tell my friends to go. I would go back. And we got some good suggestions for next year. Like next year, I asked Dr. Claude Anderson if he would actually do a complete Powernomics certification of like at least 4 or 5 hours because people loved him so much that they wanted more of him. So I said, okay, next year we'll give you more. And there's a few other things we're going to do. I want to incorporate some fun stuff, maybe spades tournament, poker tournament, basketball tournament, just something like that, as well as some networking sessions or maybe a block party or something, just so people can kind of let our hair down in addition to being serious. So you thinking about coming out next year, Herbert?
Most definitely. I got, the book package from Dr. Claude Anderson. I've been following him, for a while, this whole Powernomics thing. And every time that, he's put up a video, I've, sat down and, listened to what he had to say and, how the system is kind of rigged to a certain degree against Black peoples and how a lot of other people and groups of people have been able to take advantage of a lot of the things that have been set forth for Black people. And it's up to us to kind of take the bull by the horns, so to speak, and, kind of build our own communities, kind of to come together and, network amongst ourselves. It's okay to do business with white people, but, we got to circulate, our money within our own communities if we want to go anywhere.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, that's the best part. I think that's what people love the most is just being around like-minded people. And so I think that having spaces like that is really beneficial to the community. So thank you for your comment, Herbert. I'm going to get to Richard O'Brien next. And take care of yourself, my brother. All right. Richard, are you hearing me, Richard O'Brien? Are you ready? I'm gonna bring you in, Richard, in 3, 2, 1. And I want everybody to know, well, actually before I bring in Richard, I want everybody to know if I do bring you in, out of respect for all the other people here, if it seems like I rush you, it's not because I'm rushing you, it's because I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to come in. And so I'm gonna do less yapping. And I just ask everybody, if you got a question, let's try to keep it tight so everybody can get a chance to talk. I see a question from Roy. Roy is asking, where is the next convention? We do not know yet. We're actually taking proposals from people to either be the event planner for the convention. If you're an experienced event planner and you're willing to do this for low cost or no cost, let us know. We have to do it that way because we don't allow any corporate sponsorship. So low cost, but we would exchange. We would give you lots of advertising, tell everybody you did it, everybody you were the sponsor. So it's a good way to boost your business. Also, if you have a venue where we can partner with you, that would be beneficial. This year, it was ibuyblack.org and Kenny Gamble and his crew. They supported us. So next year, we're open for someone else who wants to partner with us on the convention. So Richard O'Brien, I'm about to bring you in, brother. So you will be in 3, 2, 1, and go. I think you have to hit the button to unmute yourself. There should be a little microphone. There you go.
Hey, Dr. Watkins, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good. My question is quick. Using a Roboadvisor portfolio to build my child's wealth, would that be a good idea to do?
Roboadvisor?
Yeah, like Betterment or Vanguard or something like that, where you put in money into a portfolio and they invest it for you and do reinvestment of the dividends?
Yeah. I mean, automatic reinvestment of your dividends is typically the best way to go. Unless you want to get those $18 checks or whatever. I'm a big believer in reinvestment of dividends. That's what I do, but I'm not going to tell everybody else to do it, but I will say that that's what I do. And I think as far as robo-advisors, beyond that, like picking new stocks to buy and things like that. I think it's okay, but truth be told, the way the research goes is that if you just make sure you diversify and you're buying different types of stock on a regular basis for your child, their portfolio should grow pretty naturally and pretty quickly that way. So, it's my 2 cents.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. All right. Okay. And, so in 1 second, I'm going to bring in Jasmine White. So Jasmine, go ahead and get ready. Give me 1 second here. I want to see if there's anything. I don't know if you guys wanted your video on or not, but I don't actually, the video's not coming in. So I guess we can just do audio for now until I figure out how to automatically do the video. All right. And by the way, everybody who is watching, like if you're watching on Facebook, you can actually go to drboystv.com. That's drboystv.com. I'm about to shut off the Facebook feed. So if you go to drboystv.com, you can follow the conversation. So we will be shutting that down in 1 second. All right. So Miss Jasmine White, you are on. Hey, Jasmine, there should be a button where you can unmute your microphone. So you can tap that when you're ready. Okay, I'm going to give Jasmine some time to respond. She may not be able to hear us. So Jasmine, I'm going to go ahead and move on to Adrian. So Adrian, you're in. Adrian, are you able to unmute yourself? There he is.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how are you? What city are you in?
I'm actually in Greenville, South Carolina. It's just a pleasure to be around amongst fellow like-minded people. So I'm actually kind of new to you as a whole and Dr. Claude Anderson as well. So I'm just here to listen and see what I could learn, I guess.
Okay. Did you have a question?
No, sir. No question. Just all ears.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming in, Adrian, from South Carolina. It's nice to have you, brother. How old are you?
I'm 44.
44. Okay, that's the perfect age to change your life and the perfect age for you to become the man you've always wanted to be. You're already a great man because you're here, but I think we can help you become a greater man. So welcome to the family, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So Yeah, I want to see if I can set this thing up where it will automatically unmute you guys who are inside the webinar. If you want to come in, if you want to be a part of the internal conversations, this is for students that are in the Black Business School or who went to the A, B, and C. So if you're on the outside and you want to come in and you want to talk and stuff like that, just join that theblackbusinessschool.com. You can actually get started for free. That's theblackbusinessschool.com. And then you'll get invitations to kind of come into these Black Wealth conversations, because I can't answer questions on multiple platforms. I can only do one at a time. So, all right. So the next person I'm going to go to is Tiffany Brinkley. So Tiffany Brinkley, you will be brought in 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Watkins. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Tiffany?
I'm doing great. I'm here on business travel in California.
Very nice.
Trying to do my thing, and I've started on my homework from the national convention with getting with my auntie and starting to talk about estate planning and whatnot. So we're working on that now. Thank you very much for that. You know, giving us action to go take care of ourselves.
I love it.
The question that I had for you, I was so happy to see that that Dr. Claude Anderson was there as our keynote, because he led me to you. And at the end, he wasn't really able to get all the way into what he really wanted to share with us. And I wanted to find out if there's going to be a follow-up webinar, so that way he can share with us the rest of his message.
You know, I think that's a good idea. Dr. Claude Anderson did actually come in today, and we were talking about the Supreme Court. And he actually had a lot of interesting things to say about the history of the court and the racism and stuff like that a lot of Black folks never learn about in school. What I'll do is I'll share the link to that conversation with you guys so you can watch it. But also what I'll try to do is bring him in specifically to speak to the students that are in the Black Business School and those who came to the convention. If anybody has an interest, the first people that I'm going to bring Dr. Anderson to will be part of our study group, which is at abncdigital.com. That's abncdigital.com. That's where you can see the footage from the convention as well as previous conventions. You can see the footage from the event, the training event I did with Louis Farrakhan, as well as the ones I've done with other scholars and leaders and stuff like that, as well as a lot of films and all kinds of stuff. So feel free to give that a try. And so, Tiffany, did you go? You were at the convention. Where did you travel from?
From Seattle, Washington.
Okay. And how did you? What else did you observe at the convention? What did you like? What would you like to see next time, or what are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, I have a lot of feedback, and I really loved the venue and appreciated having the opportunity to meet with so many different professionals and business owners. I thought that was beautiful, just to see people that I could relate to, that look like me. And it really, really encouraged me to continue obviously doing what I'm doing, and to start reaching back out to people just to learn more about my own professionalism and questioning what I could do to get better, to serve my community. I really love that you had the showcase of all the different Black businesses there. I was blown away by, there was a gentleman kind of towards the entrance on the other side, where he was sharing with me his handmade jewelry and kind of how he went through the process of collecting the pieces. And I couldn't even move. I was just in awe by the fact that all of that was his.
Yeah, I remember that, brother. I remember his booth. He was set up, and I was so impressed. I don't know how much money he made, but I'm sure he did well, because what he had was really impressive. I know one thing we want to do for next year is we're going to try positioning the vendors in a different way, so that everybody walks by the vendors at some point, because I was impressed with the way the vendors had their booth set up. I mean, they weren't just out there just trying to scrape up a dollar. Like, they really had professional setups. And I personally spent hundreds of dollars at the different, vending booths. And I know a lot of other people did, but I want to make sure that that the convention becomes a place where there's commerce,
yes,
an economy. And so I hope you'll be joining us next year. Or is that the plan?
Oh yeah, certainly. I definitely plan to be there next year, and I need to plan ahead so I can at least get one of my children to come out with me. I loved seeing that there were children that had their own little booths as well, selling their products and services. So I just thought that was excellent, and I want to have that as an influence for my children as well.
Yeah, well, one thing we're going to do next year. I'll let you go, Tiffany, but I want to tell you what we're going to do for next year that involves kids. Maybe you want to get your kids involved. What I'll say is, we were also really impressed with the children. We were so pleasantly surprised by how many children were setting up booths and working with their parents. And that's kind of what we envision is Black people, Black children doing business with their parents. And there there was one young lady who had a lipstick and lip gloss booth set up. She actually was the daughter of one of our team members. And that little girl, I think, walked away with $700. There's a kid last year that made $3,000 in an hour. There's another little girl selling jewelry that she and her mother had made, and they did well. They made a few $100. Who's another kid that I saw? I saw another young man there with his father, and I don't know how much money they made, but I know they were almost running out of stuff. And so the good thing about these events is that, everybody spends money anyway. Like most of us are out here spending, when the Black Panther movie came out, we took our families out to the movies, bought $5 popcorn, took them to dinner and spent, some of them spent over $100 that night. So my thought is, if we do that, if we're in spaces where other Black people tend to be, then, and we're still, spending the way we spend, at least we're spending with other Black people. So supporting a Black business is really supporting a Black family. Supporting a Black business is supporting a Black person. Supporting a Black business is supporting Black children. So ultimately, we shouldn't think of it as let's just support Black business. We should think of it as let's support Black families. So I'm going to bring in Ramses next. Ramses, you will be brought in 3, 2, 1, and go. There should be a microphone where you can hit the mute button and unmute yourself. So I'll let Ramses take a second to do that. Because for some reason I cannot unmute him, and I don't know why. Only you can unmute yourself. Okay. So it looks like it's not working. So what I'm gonna do is move on. If you find the button, come on in. Look for the button that'll unmute your audio. Just see, check to see if you can see the button. That way, when you guys come in, it'll already be taken care of, and we don't have to go through that awkward moment. I'll try to find out how to shut it down for next time, so that you'll automatically have your audio and video on. Ricardo O'Brien says, "Will using Roboadvisor?" Oh, he already asked that question. Okay. Derek says, "I love the A, B, and C. I got to see my main man, Ryan McCrary. My only letdown was that I didn't see Jay Morrison or the mighty Zaza Ali." Yeah, Jay and Zaza are awesome. Jay was coming. Jay had a conflict of interest or a conflict of scheduling, not of interest. And he couldn't make it. Zaza, we love Zaza. I mean, Zaza was actually in a film that we featured at the convention, The Black Love Blueprint, which is coming out as sort of ending the Black love war between men and women, ending the war between Black men and Black women, and where we got relationship therapists and everybody in this movie. And so the thinking behind that, was not any offense towards Zaza in terms of us feeling like she's not a fit. She's a great fit. She's wonderful. The thinking is that there's a long list of people that asked me to invite them to the convention. There's a ton of people who would be great keynote speakers. There are a ton of people who are texting me and calling me and emailing and saying, "Hey, Doc, I'd like to be on a panel. I'd like to be on a panel." So when you get that, you're getting like a lot of, you can't get everybody in there at once. So what we do is each year we kind of think, okay, yeah, this person's great, but we already had them last year, or we had them the last 2 years. But there's a lot of really good people that I would have invited in a second. Like Willie D from the Ghetto Boys was amazing last year. Killer Mike, as far as rappers go, Killer Mike was probably the best guest we've ever had at the convention in terms of impact. Dr. Claude Anderson is awesome. So what we're probably going to consider next year is maybe breakout sessions where we can bring people back in year after year. The hard part with that is that there's a lot that goes into travel expenses, so you have to be thoughtful when you're funding it on your own. And I share this with you so you guys know what we're figuring out, what we're going through, what we sort of put piecing together. When you pay for it on your own, you run into a lot of financial puzzles that have to be solved. It's not like McDonald's writes us $1 million check and then lets us go do whatever. We literally use our own money to pay for everything in advance. So you're literally talking about $10, $20, $30,000, not $10,000. We can't do it for 10 or 20 or 30. Usually it's about 40,000. So we're putting the money out and we put it out piece by piece. And then at the end, you get your money back. But it's like you got to be real careful with that. Like you can't just sort of just spend money like it's going out of style. And so what that requires you to do is you got to be cautious about who you invite. make sure that these are the right people. Also, we tend to work better with people that, they have resources where they can pay for themselves to come to the convention, because we want to pay for everybody, but we just can't do it all the time. And I refuse to take corporate sponsorship. Like, I do not want any money from a corporation because they're going to tell us what to say. And if this is going to be the All Black National Convention and an exhibition of Black independence, then it wouldn't make any sense for us to tell white people to kiss our butt while at the same time asking for their money. You can't do that, those two things at once. So let's see. Jason Bolivar says, should Tariq Nasheed be invited next year? Yeah, I'm going to try to invite Tariq. I'm going to ask him if he wants to come out because I think he's good. I think he's great. He's a great filmmaker. I love his movie Hidden Colors. I think that for some people, there comes a question also about cost. Some people come, they just come and want to be there. Some people say, hey, I need you to pay me a speaking fee and stuff like that. And if we got it, we do it. If we ain't got it, we can't do it. So I know that when I worked with Tariq on some stuff, usually there's a fee attached. And so it doesn't mean I don't love Tariq. I think Tariq is a great guy. But it just has to fit within the budget. What about a Black company offering sponsorship? Well, the problem with that is there's just not a lot of strong Black companies out there that are willing to sponsor this kind of stuff. Most Black companies that are doing really well financially to the point where they can write a big, gigantic check are usually companies that are not really interested in being around Black people. What was it? There's this Black-owned Marriott in D.C., a Black-owned Marriott in Washington, D.C., and we had reached out to them because we were like, oh, it's a Black-owned hotel. The people that come to the convention, they're going to love it. That we pick a Black-owned hotel. And we're gonna have it there, and it'll be at this Black-owned hotel, and everybody think that's great. Well, we called them, and from what I was told from my team, they were all good with hosting the convention until they found out that it was called the All Black National Convention. When they found out that it was called the All Black National Convention, suddenly they didn't have no space. Suddenly they were like, him and her, And that I know that sound. I know that look. That look typically is, like we don't want to be too Black. We don't want to lose our favor with white supremacy. White people hook us up, so we're not going to throw all that away for a bunch of loudmouth Black people. So basically, I don't hold that against them, but I think that they should be called out for it. I think it should be noted. And it's because here's the problem. The reason Black people can't move forward as a collective is because we got these Negroes that are attached to white institutions that are scared to be Black. They're scared of upsetting racist people. When you cannot cater to a racist and help Black people at the same time. You can't. That's like me saying I love Black people, but I work for President Trump and I'm serving President Trump and I'm serving Black people. You can't really do that. It doesn't mean that you can't maybe be a bridge builder. Maybe you can change Trump's ideas. Maybe you can, blackmail him into doing something for Black people, but you have to understand that his wishes are always going to trump whatever you want to do for Black people. So basically, if you're like these Marriott people or whatever, and you want to serve Black people, you want to be with Black people, but then you've got white people who don't like that, who think less of your company because you're working with other Black people, then you end up having to make a choice. It's like when I was supposed to speak at UCLA, I was invited out there by the Black Alumni Association, and the rapper Common was going to be there, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and some other people, Angela Rye. And basically, there were people that got nervous because I'm too Black. Right? You can be politely Black, but when you're Black and you're impolite, or you're Black and you're very direct, or you're Black and you're very honest, you're Black and very authentic about Black people owning things, building things, creating things of our own, it makes some people nervous because they're not used to that. They're used to what I consider to be like wasteful Blackness, where I'm not really going to change anything, but I'm going to make people feel good. So I'm going to go do a Verizon commercial and my Black face being in the commercial, and I'm going to rap a couple of tunes or whatever. Like Common kind of does that. Common, if you pay attention, Common, the rapper, has never said anything radical about Blackness, right? He typically, but he has a Black face. He does stuff with Black people, maybe he does things behind the scenes, but he's not like a person that will go out and say, this racism against Black people is unacceptable. This is not cool. or we need to own our own stuff. We need to own our own entities. This is crazy that we don't own our own stuff. Or voting for the Democratic Party has not helped Black people. We need to go and have, form our own political coalitions and back candidates who do, the most for Black people. Like if you say things like that, then you kind of get put into this really interesting space. But it's fine. I mean, I'm okay with being in that space because I think that's the only space that's relevant. Other spaces are just cosmetic. Really, most Black people, including many of our politicians, are not doing anything to move the community forward. There's nothing. Point out any senators or congressmen that are really doing something right now that is really going to hammer down and have a huge impact on the community. I can't think of any. But I do know that when I'm speaking and when Dr. Claude Anderson is speaking, I can tell you about Black businesses that are being built because of what we're showing people how to do. I can tell you about Black people who quit their jobs. There's probably somebody on here right now who's watching right now who has quit their job because you've been watching me for a while and now you're ready to go fly on your own. And now instead of dedicating just a few minutes of your week to Blackness, you're dedicating 40 hours a week to Blackness. That's huge. That's very huge. Why is that huge? Well, it's huge because when you're being raised to be a slave, when you're being raised to be a paid slave, let's just be clear. I'm not saying that that you're a slave like 1885. You're a slave or 1825. And when slavery is outlawed by 1885, the worst sharecroppers. But I'm not saying you were a slave like 1805 or whatever. But you're a slave in the sense that you're getting paid money and you don't get to choose where you're going to put your energy, right? So when you do that, what happens is when you're raised to serve white supremacist institutions, you're making a huge investment in white supremacy, a huge donation to white supremacy. Why is that? Well, you're donating because you're donating something very powerful. You're donating your time. You're donating your labor. You're donating your skill. You're donating your intellect. And when you're donating all of that to a white supremacist institution, then you don't have much left over to give to your community. Only thing you can do for your community at that point is maybe do a little charity, take care of a couple of relatives, donate 2 hours a week at the boys club. But the big piece of chicken, so to speak, the big chunk of your life that really matters, that what you do with that 40 hours a week is being donated somewhere else. I'll give you an example. Look at me, for example. I dedicate pretty much all my time, every ounce of my time, and I set my life up this way. I dedicate all my time to talking about Black people, thinking about Black people, figuring out models for Black people. All my PhD is dedicated to things that involve Black people and wealth building and all these other things, right? Imagine if I was like a professor at Yale and I was giving 50 hours a week to Yale, right? Yale's getting my best ideas. Yale's getting my top priority. Yale's getting my time and energy. Yale's getting all of my skill. And then I say, well, I want to give back to Black people. What can I really do at that point? I'm really like a used up prostitute at that point. I don't have anything to give you anymore. So I might be like, oh, well, I'm so busy with my schedule with Yale that I can't really do much. But hey, I can come down and speak to Black people once a month on the internet and give them, a Dr. Boyce lecture of the month, right? Or I can I can make a donation. I can donate, $1,000 a year to the Boys Club, right? That's a very different level of commitment, right? It's like marriage, right? Think about the difference in the amount of time a man gives, a side chick that he sees once a month or twice a month versus the time he gives to his wife. His wife gets most of him. His side chick gets whatever's left over when the wife is busy, right? So for many Black people, the Black community is the side chick in your life. And the reason that it's a perfect analogy is because the side chick doesn't get the best of you. The side chick gets whatever's left over. The side chick also is somebody that you keep in the dark. You don't proclaim the side chick to be the person that you really love. You're saving that for your wife. You go see the side chick. The side chick lives in the shadows. The side chick kind of gets you like when nobody else is looking, right? So ultimately, for Black people, what I'm saying is stop making the Black community your side chick. Make the Black community your main chick. You're not even a chick anymore. Now the Black community is your spouse, right? Marry your people. Marry your community. Marry your Blackness. Marriage is a commitment. Marriage means that I'm with you to have and to hold in sickness and in health, for richer, for poor, till death do us part, right? And that means that whatever comes with it, whatever, struggles come with being Black, You've accepted that. You know what? I know what it means to be radical and black. I know that there's certain jobs I'll never get. I know that there's certain hell I'm gonna have to endure. I know that there's certain people that are going to be scared of me. I know that I might lose some friends. I know that I might not have as much money as I would if I was kowtowing to white folks. But this is where I'm at. This is my wife, and I'm going to sit next to my wife until we both dead, right? And I think that mindset, I think that may be tough for you at this point. It might be tough for you now because of where you are, but it's not tough for your kids. You see, how you train your kids is extremely important. Do you do what everybody else is trained to do, and train your kids to be servants to white supremacy? How do you do that? Well, first thing you do when your child gets about 5 or 6, you send them to a white school. You send them to a school where they're going to learn all the elements of whiteness. They're going to spend thousands of hours learning how to be white. So you're preparing them, like almost like those geisha schools where they're in Japan, where they would train little girls from birth to be prostitutes, right? Or like that lady in Coming to America who was trained her whole life to be married to the prince and to serve the prince, right? So you train your children from 5 or 6 to be white by sending them to white people to educate them, right? And because they're not going to get rewarded by going to the school and behaving as black people might behave, or thinking the way black people think, or doing what black people do, or they're not going to learn about black history. They're not going to learn about Marcus Garvey and all the people that really matter. They're going to learn about George Washington before they ever know about Marcus Garvey. There's actually kids in Tulsa, Oklahoma who go to school who don't know anything about Black Wall Street. They don't know anything about Black Wall Street. Like in fact, for example, I have these Black history flashcards here that we use for kids. When you went to school, did you learn who Richard Henry Boyd was? Did you learn who Stanley O'Neill was? Jerome Holland, Fannie Peck, Napoleon Branford, Edwin C. Berry, Harry Pace. Did you learn any of these people? Did you learn much about Mansa Musa? Who did you learn? What were you learning? You were learning about white people. You were getting a Eurocentric education that was preparing you not to be smart, not to be an intellect. It was preparing you to be a servant. It was preparing you. It was giving you a skill. It was like a trade school. It was giving you a skill, and the skill was to navigate the system of white supremacy. It was a training program. And then after that, and then the whole time you're being, sort of inundated with white media, radio, TV, all that stuff. And then when you go to college, they've already told you what success means. They've told you what, success means being accepted by white supremacy. Success does not really mean working hard unless you work hard and are accepted by white supremacy. Success doesn't mean being intellectual unless you're intellectual and you're accepted by white supremacy. Success does not mean knowing history unless you know history in a way that is consistent with white supremacy. That's why we have Black people. Pay attention. You have Black people that will, when you point out, say, a celebrity on TV that's making $10 million a year, and you say, is that a successful person? They're going to say yes. And all I got to tell them is how much money that person makes. That's all I got to tell them. I don't tell them anything about that person's values or their character. I don't tell them anything about what they're doing for their community. I don't tell them anything about how thoughtful and intelligent they might or might not be. They could be dumb as a brick, can't read. Floyd Mayweather can't read, cares nothing about Black people, beats women, and brags about how much money he gives to white folks. And he's considered a successful Black person. Why is that? Well, that's because you were given the wrong definition of success from the beginning. You see, before I show you how to be successful, we got to come to an agreement on what success actually looks like. Success cannot look like, making a whole lot of money. That can't be the only success measure. Because if that's the case, then why not just train your daughter to be the best whore on the block? Train her to just, serve as many men as possible, and she'll be a success. She'll be wealthy. She'll be a wealthy whore, right? But why do you not do that? Well, you don't do that because, the value system comes into play. It's not consistent with what you define to be success. So you say, look, I want you to make money. I want you to do well, but I don't want you to make money that way, right? So I think for Black people, the question is, are we training our kids just to be whores for white supremacy? Are we raising them to serve white supremacy? Just like that little girl might be raised to serve men. Think about this. You're serving somebody in a way that does make you feel like a prostitute because you're doing things that don't feel ethical to you. You're doing things that you hate. You're doing things that make you mad. You're doing things for people who don't have any respect for you. You're going to work every day working for a guy who thinks just like Donald Trump. And when he comes in and says, I need you to do this, you say, yes, sir. right? So ultimately, the comparison, I think, is perfect. So I think for the children, what you do is if you really want your child to be liberated and you want them to really serve the community and you want them to really invest and really marry the community, first thing you got to do is you got to get them educated by Black people. Like in a Black school, there's schools like Freedom Home Academy International in Chicago that are extremely good, better than the white schools. That school's better than any school in the city of Chicago that I've ever seen. You get them educated by Black people on Black issues, Black history, Black, whatever matters for Black people, right? Second thing you do, you teach them how to make money in a way that is ethical and that detaches from the existing white supremacist system. Right. So it doesn't mean, that they can't engage. It doesn't mean they can't go make money with white folks. It just means they have to have a choice of stepping out away from the things that are not consistent with their value system. Right. So if you have them double down on white supremacy and invest all their time and energy just in being connected to white folks and getting white folks to like them, then you're going to pretty much raise somebody who becomes worthless to the Black community. Well, instead, another solution is that you can teach them, to navigate different spaces. Like, look, son, you're gonna work with white folks sometimes. This is how they think. And if they're decent to you, be decent to them. Show respect. Respect will be received and given. And show them how to make money in a way that allows them to have enough freedom, equity, and ownership where they can take the best of their resources, the best of their energy, and put it into the community. So that, for example, if they're hiring employees, they're looking for Black employees. If they're trying to get business partners, they're looking for Black business partners. If they're serving a customer base, they're serving a Black customer base if possible. If they got to serve a white customer base, they can do that too. But the Black community must be the ultimate beneficiary of their effort. And that's where it's getting down to. That's what's getting down to. I think the question they can ask themselves, which is the ultimate question, the most important question of all this, is, when it's all said and done, when you measure who benefits from your labor and from your money, and from your time and energy, are Black people the primary beneficiaries of all of this? If you can say yes, then I congratulate you. If you can't say yes, that means we got work to do. So that's it. I didn't mean to go so long, but I thought that was something that was important to bring up. All right. Shatar says, what is the likelihood of you adding healthcare professionals to discuss wellness and common challenges we face? That likelihood is very high. Next year, we're going to actually have a panel of doctors and nurses and health professionals that will talk about Black health issues. In fact, one of the big issues that I really want to dig into next year is Black women's hair. I don't know if you guys have seen the studies that show that all those hair chemicals that's what's causing Black women to get fibroids. That's what causes obesity amongst Black women. That's also what causes all kinds of other issues like excess estrogen, which causes all these problems, and so it made me even wonder, I've always been a person, I ain't gonna lie, as a man, I've always appreciated a Black woman's curves. And I've always thought about it and said, man, I don't think I could even date a white woman or an Asian woman because they don't look like women to me. They don't got no curves. Black women got curves, and I really wonder how much the hair care products plays a part in that, honestly. I don't know. I hope that's not the case, because it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad that I like something that might not be healthy. But I really do wonder. I do know that nowadays, you got Black girls that are having their menstrual cycles very early, developing, women's bodies at a super early age. You have a fibroid issue. Most of y'all don't know a Black woman who didn't have a fibroid issue, or a lot of Black women do. And I think a lot of that does connect to the hair care products. So what I want to do is get to the bottom of that. And I've been speaking with industry experts in hair care who are helping us to kind of dig deeper into that. And so if you're in either hair care or medicine or the medical field, shoot us an email, email manager@boycewatkins.com. That's manager@boycewatkins.com. And maybe we can get you on the panel for next year or something like that. They're not stick figures. I know, right? Sisters come from the motherland, doctor. Yeah, but even, I ain't gonna lie, even African women, they're nice. Don't get me wrong. They're nice. They're very nice. But there's something very unique about African-American people. And I've always tried to figure that out. Like, our athletes can just do things no athletes in the world can do. I believe a lot of it has to do with slavery, breeding the slaves, things like that. I think it's the food. I think we eat a lot of slave food that does certain things to our bodies, all that. So anyway, can you have the rap professor do all the panels? Yeah, that that brother, that rapping professor. I forgot his name, but that guy was great. And a lot of people loved him. So yeah, I'm going to invite him back next year for sure. Shatara says, is it possible to develop a contact or email list of attendees and or vendors for next year? I'm going to look into that. I'm going to see what they can do to develop some sort of contact list. The problem with that is if you have a big contact list and hundreds of people have information for hundreds of other people, it can cause problems, you know, because everybody ain't sane. Everybody ain't normal. Everybody ain't decent. You know, some people will get in there and just act a fool and harass people and all that. So you got to be cautious about that. Now, I do know at blagenough.com, substantial networks are being formed there. Blagenough.com is our social media platform. It's just like Facebook. It's spelled BLAGGENUF. That's BLAGGENUF. So feel free to join blagenough.com. It's just like Facebook, except it's for Black people. And we created it because we got tired of Facebook. All right, so let's see here. Stephen McNeese says, Dr. Boyce, I'm in the process of fleeing the plantation. I'm in need of a business mentor and or coach. I want to enroll in more of the Black business courses, but due to my lack of finances because of being off work, because of an injury, is there another way to pay? Well, I mean, we can give discounts and stuff. If you're talking about like, you know, as far as labor, we have to develop the infrastructure to be able to manage more labor. Like right now, honestly, we had a little bit of a cutback in terms of number of people because we were just paying so many people, and it was crazy, man. There's so much stuff going on. So we actually downsized a little bit to be more efficient as a company. But why don't you send an email to support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That's support@theblackbusinessschool.com. And they can kind of help in terms of letting you know where some discounts might be, and tell them I said to give you the best discounts, and we can get you in there and then give you some free stuff too. All right, so let's see here. Okay, can we have classes like sewing and martial arts, etc.? We can't do too much. We can do a few things. We can't do all of that. But eventually we will. Eventually we'll evolve the convention. We just want to take it one step at a time. What if you're dating a dual culture person and didn't know she was all Black? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, Jocelyn. And didn't know she was all Black. I mean, I dated a woman who was Black, but she was Latina. She was from Panama, and I thought she was African American. But I wouldn't, you know, if you're dating somebody who's Black and Hispanic, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think that you're still dating a Black person. A lot of people don't know that actually in South America, the racism is really bad. And so ultimately, Black people, darker people around the world kind of catch hell. It's just kind of a thing. John Mace, when will the Black Business School become a university? Probably never, because we're not trying to get accredited. We're not trying to be part of that system. We believe that we have the same capacity as the white man to create our own system. So we will not be a body that is looking to be accredited. We will be a body that will grant accreditations to others. You know, the experts that we have are second to none. We got people like Dr. Claude Anderson involved. Tariq Nasheed has actually been a guest lecturer on how to make money independently as a filmmaker. We got Dr. Venetia Dutra, who has a doctorate in finance. We've got, you know, Dr. Shauna Etienne, attorney Nicole Compton, attorney Tanya Nebo. We got some of the best people in the world in the school. So we're not seeking to get accreditation because we're not training more Black people to go get jobs. If you want to get an education to go get a job, there's plenty of schools out there that will charge you $40,000 a year that will give you a degree that will let you go work for white people. I'm not going to ever make fun of you for that, but that's not what we're built for. We're built for people that want to either work for or with other Black people or want to create something of their own. That's what we do. That's what we focus on. That's the three pillars of investing: real estate, stock bond investing, and entrepreneurship. Within entrepreneurship, we've got things like franchise programming, business processes, things that help you run an efficient company. And we also have a law school, but it's not for people that want to pass the bar. It's for people who want to know the law. So attorney Nicole Compton teaches in that. DeMario Solomon Simmons, who's a great litigator, teaches in that. Attorney Tanya Nebo teaches in that. And if you want to actually check out the law program, you can actually look up theblacklegalprogram.com. The first month is free. That's theblacklegalprogram.com. And a lot of our programs are certificate programs, which means that once you go through all the material, all the curriculum, you'll get a certificate when you're done. You put that on your wall. Also, the children's programs are certificate programs, which is really important if you have a child and you want them to develop their self-esteem early and identify themselves as a wealth builder, there were kids who brought their certificates to the convention. I signed them for them. And these are very important because in the mind of a 12-year-old, that's like getting a degree from Harvard. In their mind, two things you want. If you want your child to be a millionaire, here's a couple things you can do. There's many things you can do, but a couple things you can do psychologically. One, get them some sort of certification or validation that validates them as a wealth building or wealth minded person, like somebody who knows wealth, knows investing, whatever. That's the first thing, right? So get them, you can do our program or there's others out there, whatever you want to do. Second thing you want to do is put them in a position where they can make some money. Let them make a little bit of money as an entrepreneur. If they make some money, like some of the kids that went and set up at the All Black National Convention, who, some of the kids at the convention who made $800 in 2 hours of work, it changes their mindset. It's really like a drug for them. They're like, oh my God, Mom, look at how much money I have. Most kids who are, like 10 years old don't have $800, right? They don't. So that changes their perspective. They're different from their friends, and that's it. So now somebody says, what is this about Angela Rye? Angela Rye. I don't hate Angela Rye, but I know Angela Rye doesn't like me. And a lot of it is because I did actually call her to the carpet on the way I saw her treat people behind the scenes. I didn't like what I saw. I was at an event and I felt she was very disrespectful. She's good on TV. She's good, as far as speaking about stuff like, what Trump is doing or how the Democratic Party can save Black people, stuff like that. Stuff I don't agree with, really. The problem was that I felt I probably have a bias against public figures that I think are arrogant and disrespectful of the people that support them. And when I saw her in Oklahoma, her behavior was just atrocious. And I had to make an ethical decision. Do I say something about it? Maybe I should just be quiet. And I said something about it, and it caused her to get very upset. And then a couple mutual friends we have, like Charlemagne, I think Charlemagne was concerned that I even said anything about it, but I don't regret it, because I believe you should follow your conscience. So I followed my conscience, and my conscience said I should say something. And she did go apologize. I told her, I said, you need to apologize to those people. They were hurt. You hurt their feelings. You were very mean to those people, and they paid you thousands of dollars to come speak. You need to go apologize. And she did. So since that time, she's had a vendetta for me. I think the UCLA issue that came up where they suddenly uninvited me like at the last minute, which I don't care. I don't care about going to speak at UCLA. I was just mad they wasted my time. UCLA, it's a big racist university, so I don't really care much about stuff like that. But I was upset because it wasted my time. And then I know that she was behind the scenes kind of pushing people in different directions in a way that was just kind of ridiculous. But anyway, so let's see. So that's what it is. I mean, I like telling the truth. I like laying it all out there because, there's no point in me pretending like something isn't happening or it's different from what it looks like. Let's see here. So Tiffany says, I'd love to be considered for a panel discussing insurance-based wealth building and asset protection. Okay, send an email to manager@boycewatkins.com and they'll take a look for sure. I don't know if we can have a panel on insurance, but we can have you maybe on the YouTube channel or something. Just be cautious though. We get a lot of people that are like in affiliate programs or in multi-level marketing type scenarios. And I don't want to, if multi-level marketing, if you're kind of connected to anything like that, I'm not really going to have you on the channel because I'm just not trying to get involved in that type of stuff. No disrespect, it's just not my thing. Let me see here. What were you going to speak about at UCLA? I was going to be there with Common and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and a couple other people. And a lot of my people were coming. A lot of people heard I was coming, so they showed up and bought tickets and all that. And then when I got off the plane, I was told not to come because they decided that I was too radical. And I was like, but you knew this when you invited me 2 months ago. Like, what changed? Did you just decide to get smart? And there was some guy, I forgot his name. He was a Bobby something, who was like the head of the Black Alumni Association, who spearheaded the decision. But a little birdie kind of told me that Angela Rye was somewhere in the background screaming and hollering, like, I don't want this guy around. And so, just kind of, that's kind of just what happens. So I'm glad Common dumped her. She's kind of a jerk, I think, honestly. Yeah, man. Man, if you're dating a bitchy woman, like find a woman that's nice. I've dated enough bitchy, evil women in my life because I tended to choose badly, but I learned my lesson. A lot of people act like men don't get abused, but men can be open to verbal abuse, psychological abuse. It happens all the time. A lot of times it starts with their mothers. But anyway, let me shut up. I'm just going off on another tangent here. Let me keep going. Jasmine says, hello, Dr. Boyce. I actually absolutely love the convention. Good. I can't wait to be a part of it next year. I have 2 suggestions, okay? I feel in the Black community, we have a lot of trauma to heal from. Yes. I think there needs to be a healing session, especially for those who have sexual trauma to young. Oh, yeah. Whew. I also think there should be at least 2 or 3 classes dedicated to teaching children. I would love to assist with that. Okay. I don't know what you do, Jasmine, but you sound smart to me. Send an email to manager@boycewatkins.com, and I'm going to tell her to put the stuff into a file so we can have these names. And I'll do another call as we're preparing for the convention. So make sure you are, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure get on our list. One way to get on the list is if you go to drboycewatkins.net, drboycewatkins.net. Not only will you get a free copy of my book, but you also get to be on our list, which means you'll be in the loop on everything that happens. Another way you could even stay closer is if you text the word Boyce to 31996, just text my name and you'll be on our text list. What I do is I'll text people periodically when I'm about to go live or when there's a breaking news story, stuff like that. Okay, the rap professor's name is Aaron Smith. Okay, Aaron Smith. Well, I won't forget that name because he was good, boy. Aaron Smith killed it. Let's see. Same thing happened to Malcolm X in Paris. They said he was too radical. Really? Oh, I think radical is good. Dr. Claude Anderson actually in 2006 was the one who helped me rethink what it means to be radical and why that's a good thing. He actually was the guy who told me, he said, no, radical is good. He said, if you're not radical, you're not making a difference. And so I said, oh, so I should embrace being radical. He said, yeah, you should. So I said, absolutely. So I'll embrace it from now on. Coach Trey, do you think that if Black people and Black businesses engage in the affiliate marketing aspect of business, it could help the circulation of the Black dollar and keep it in our community longer? Affiliate marketing? Well, I think if you have, a business and you have Black affiliates that are helping sell the product, an affiliate relationship is different from, say, multi-level marketing, where affiliate relationship is like, and we had an affiliate program for a while. It's where like you have a product and somebody else sells your product and they get a cut and you get a cut. I think affiliate relationships are great. Selling your product wholesale is great. You want to find any way that you can create win-win situations. People that are good at building win-win scenarios tend to build good businesses. So you got to always ask, what's the win-win? What is, what are they gaining and what am I gaining, right? A lot of people don't get that. If you have an employee mindset, you're not going to create win-win situations with people. You're going to create situations where you do work and then you get a check. Well, that's not always going to help them. They may be a small business that doesn't have money to pay you the way white folks do. Black people can't pay like white people all the time. So you got to be creative. You got to barter. Maybe you say, hey, look, over here, I was making $100,000 a year. I'll work for you for 40 grand. But, this is an extra benefit I'd like to get. I'd like to learn this particular skill or get access to this particular resource, right? Just because you don't have money, that does not mean you can't trade. Trade is where you take something of value and you exchange it for something else of value. And so money should be one of the few or last things you talk about when you talk about trading. When I trade with other people, like if I trade with Tariq Nasheed or somebody, my first thought is not, how do I get money out of you? Like Jay Morrison and I have traded a lot, but I've never gotten a check from Jay. I've never asked for a check from Jay. I've done a lot of free things for Jay. Why? Well, is it because I'm just dumb and giving things away? No, it's because later on, I might need you to do me a favor, right? But we're exchanging value, it's not always money, because we know that cash is hard to come by sometimes. And what you got to do is tap into the other forms of wealth that can be transferred. A business-minded person can see that. An employee-minded person might not be able to. Jasmine White says, I would like to pledge $20 a month to the future school that will be built. I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm not the only person who would like to make a monthly contribution. Well, thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate that. If you wanted to begin the process of making a monthly contribution toward the schools that we're going to build, just take a class in a Black business school. You know, all that revenue, all that money that comes in goes right back into the Black community. And it's allowed us to put a lot of money into the Black community. We fed a lot of Black children, a lot of Black families. We created scholarships, 2 scholarships at Freedom Home Academy International. We have promoted African-centered schools all across the United States. We have, in fact, if you go to teachourownchildren.com, I think it's Teach Our Own Children. Yeah, teachourownchildren.com. You can find an interactive map of all the African-centered schools in the country. So we thought rather than building a school right away, what we would do is support the schools that are already there. There are great schools out there. So first thing we did is we gave $5,000 to Freedom Home Academy International. Freedom Home Academy International then took that money, and the person who started the school, Marcus Klein, told me he was going to use that money toward a new building he was getting in Atlanta. Then what we did was we circled back around, me and my cousin, and we created another scholarship there in the name of his ex-wife, Joyce. And so ultimately, the goal is to say, the systems that grow are going to be the ones that we invest in. So we want to invest in educational systems that are different from what we had before. The old model is the public schools suck. Let's put in the right politicians so they can put money into the public schools. The money never comes. Your kids stay stupid. Nothing happens. Our model is let's get those resources that we have away from those public schools, put that energy, put that money into Black schools. We got thousands and thousands of Black teachers. We have buildings out here that Black people either own or that they can buy. We have everything we need to educate our own children. So why are we not doing it? If you take all the money we spent on the Black Panther movie, we could build a nationwide Black-owned school system tomorrow, just with the money that we spent, that we gave to Disney. So don't ever believe Black people can't afford to do it. We can certainly afford to do it. John Mace, why were the Black enough t-shirts at the convention? Because my assistant ordered a bunch of other stuff, and I think she forgot. You can get the Black enough t-shirts. I think if you go to drboycebooks.com, it's drboycebooks.com, just type in t-shirt and you'll find it. At least y'all did something tangible, unlike Dr. Umar John. You know what? I'm not I'm not even going to say his name in here. I'm not going to say nothing about his school. Maybe he'll build it. I hope he does. I hope he builds. I hope it's a great school. I'm certainly not going to diss nobody who's trying. All right, so let's see here. It's not a question. I'd like to share my services to help you accomplish your goals. Who do I contact? I'm one of the few Black male court reporters, and I'm confident I can help you reach your goals. I'm also the 3rd Black-owned court reporting firm, and in the process of going national with the help of the Freedom Family Program and your vision. My name is Mikkel Williams. Send an email to manager@boycewatkins.com, and she can put you in the database. What tends to happen is that we just sort of need people on a varying basis. And the thing is, when you bring people in, you have to train them and process that whole situation. And we're trying to sort of figure out efficient ways to have the staff to even manage the people that want to come in. So maybe if you're a manager, you can be a person that helps us manage the new people that need to be managed, because that's the hard part. With a company, you can't have people running in your company roughshod, just doing whatever they want, because then the next thing you know, you're getting sued because of something that somebody did and all this other stuff. Let's see here. John says, I don't mean a traditional university. I mean teaching other fields like farming and culinary and coding. We can consider that. We have thought about doing coding. We may do that. We just haven't got around to that yet, but that's a good idea. We are going to grow, if that's what you're asking. In fact, we're about to launch an entrepreneurship program for children. In fact, we already have a great wealth building program for kids at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So if you go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, you can sign your child up. The first month is free. If you're in that program, you'll get free access to the entrepreneurship program when it's released. So it's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Edith King says, referring to Thursday night, we need to get the 10 points that Dr. Compton passed out. That was not correct due to a duplicate point. How do we get that passed out? You know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take your question and I'm going to actually message Nicole right now and tell her. Now, Nicole teaches every week. So if you're in the blacklegalprogram.com, you can see her all the time, or in the entrepreneurship program, blackmoney103.com. Both those programs have the first month free. So feel free to try that out. And you can talk to her all day. She will talk to you all day. And it's great because she's a really expensive lawyer. And to have a really expensive lawyer available where you can ask them a million questions, that's worth a ton of money. All right, let me see here. Let me send her a note. Okay. I just sent Nicole a note about it. So hopefully she'll get around to it, or she'll send it. She will get around to it. She'll send it to me. Let's see here. Steve says, I'm located in Atlanta. I'm looking for like-minded people who seek to build. I would love to start building manageable groups. Okay. Give some information, like maybe an email address or a website or something people can go to, and I can share with people. Jasmine, I'm working for Makita Scott, who's running for the Board of Education on November 6th. I never in my life met someone who's as passionate with Black youth as Makita is. We are so close to our financial goal. May you all please donate $10 to our virtual tea. Please ask for the link if you want to donate. Okay. All right. Go ahead. That's fine. You can put the link in there. Jason, any ideas on what city the convention will be in next year? We don't know yet, but I'll let you know. Joyce, are you comfortable sharing your thoughts about the network marketing industry? Yeah, I don't mess with it. Some are legit, some are not. I think that what's baffling to me about it, honestly, is that it seems that there's more interest sometimes in persuading people to give you money to be part of their network than there is in actually selling a product. And I think that's the part that kind of bothers me is, if I know I'm making, I think about this, most network marketing setups I've seen involve like something where it's like, okay, we sell, low cost energy, or we sell, it could be anything, shoes or glasses or whatever. So we got our product, but we also have this little chain thing beneath us, right? Where my goal is also to get people to join under me. So that becomes a secondary source of revenue, right? Now, it'd be one thing if people join under me for free. If they were just affiliates and it's all good, then that's fine. But when I'm generating revenue from the product sales and also from the people under me, then it becomes a little bit like a Ponzi scheme in some cases, because no product actually gets sold sometimes, right? Because let's say that, I get Tastytopia and Sophie, C. Mercy, and Jasmine White underneath me, and each of them is paying me $100 a month, for the right to sell this product, and nobody's selling anything, right? Let's say we go to the customers and the customers won't buy the product, but I'm getting money from these three people, right? So I'm making money. They're not making money unless they can find a bigger sucker, unless they can find somebody under them who signs on. You follow me? So I'm not trying to say that it's all illegitimate. Maybe there are some network marketing scenarios where they actually sell more of the product than they sell of the relationship or of the food chain, right? Or maybe I'd be more likely to trust a network marketing scenario if people could sign up underneath you for nothing. If they can sign up for free and pay nothing, then that might make sense, because at some point, somebody has to sell something. See, that's the way it's supposed to be. So what happens in that first example I just laid out to you is, there's some guy in the middle who's really, really good at getting all these people underneath him and training those people to get other people, and et cetera. So he's sitting and making a killing. So they put him on the stage, and you go to the network marketing event and you get all pumped up because you see how much money this guy's making, but he's like 2 or 3 levels above you in the food chain, and you're giving money to him. You're feeding what he's got going on, but you're not able to actually get something for yourself, whether it's revenue from selling a product or money from, other people signing up underneath you. So it kind of is like a continuous chain that goes on and on and on, but there's always a sucker at the end. There's always like some segment of that community in many cases that spent money and didn't make any money. So my measuring stick, would be when people ask me about network marketing, should I sign up for this or sign up for that? I just tell them, I say, okay, do you know anybody that you can talk to right now who is making a lot of money selling a product in that network marketing situation? If you do, talk to that person and find out exactly what they're doing. And then maybe that will give me confidence that you're actually going to do okay. But if the only thing you know about people making money is a story you heard about a guy on stage at some event who made $1 million last year, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. I just want to make sure you're able to benefit at some point in the process. And that's kind of what the issue is for me. Jasmine says, sorry, this is the last one, I promise. I'm the financial manager for the College Discovery Program. I spoke to my director about the Investing Wealth Building books you created for children. She would like to add them to the program's curriculum. What's the first step to get this done? Email my assistant. Her email address is assistant@boycewatkins.com, assistant with a T, assistant@boycewatkins.com. All right, so Jasmine has shared the URL for her. Oh gosh, Jasmine, put it, wait, hold on, wait. I was gonna say put it in the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna share this to you guys that are in the chat so you can decide if you wanna contribute to this cause or to this campaign. All right, let's see here. Tiffany says, I'd like to address your comment about the MLM and answer my question about insurance. Okay, I have 5 minutes to do so, okay. Let me see here. Okay, I'm looking at this. Okay, well, thank you for the explanation. I'm reading this and it makes sense. Okay, all right. Let me see. I see somebody has their hand up, John Mace. So John, I'm gonna bring you in. So John, you will be in 3, 2, 1, and go. John, there should be a button, like a mute button.
Yeah, I got it.
What's going on, John?
Nothing much. What's going on with you?
Not much, not much. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I've had a lot of thoughts, but it's like when you keep talking about different stuff, then all of a sudden it starts bringing up different things that I want to talk about, and it kind of gets lost in my head. But one of the things I was thinking about in particular is, did you check out the woman that was selling the healing stones?
No. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so like basically, I'm kind of open to all the things about vibrations and positivity and stuff like that. And so I was checking out her table, and she had a lot of these different healing stones, and in particular, I ended up actually buying a couple of them, and basically, like, they have different traits, like either blocking like magnetic rays, like with cell phones and different types of electronics, or like I got one in particular that helped with creativity and like having like basically problem solving and stuff like that. And one of the things that was really cool was there was one of the girls that she was the one that was at the table at the far end, like by Michael Imhotep, that was selling the jewelry. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
And so she was like doing this thing where she was holding one of the necklaces by the end. It was just letting the stone just dangle there, and the girl was having her turn her head back and forth, and the stone was moving with it. And then she started to kind of spin her head, and the stone was making the same movement. But what was really like amazing to me was when she was just holding the necklace and had her head still, and she was able to still make the stone make the same type of movements just by focusing in on it.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. And another thing that was really cool was I went to I checked out the guy that was selling the hot sauce, and he was telling me about how he had won like a bunch of competitions for having the best hot sauce in Virginia. And so I ended up I bought a bottle of that. And what actually my plan is that, cause he was just talking about how he was just selling like person to person and stuff. But the way I was looking at it was the real potential here is getting into restaurants and being able to make, bigger sales and eventually, possibly get into grocery stores and stuff like that. Because I remember at the last convention, who was it? I think it was the Malik, the guy that started the We Buy Black, how he was talking about how.
Oh, you mean Sharif Abdul Malik? Yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about how much hot sauce that Black people buy, and how. So basically, I was thinking like I want to help this guy start taking the shares out of whatever, people buy of Frank's Red Hots or Tabasco or whatever the store brand is. And so actually planning on taking the bottle to the Fredericks, the restaurant at St. Stephen's where the convention was last year, and seeing if they would be interested in purchasing that instead and putting that on their tables.
Yeah, well, what I would say is, I would go study, some of the models that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're in the Black franchise program or not, but I know you're in the Black business school, Johnny. You do a lot of stuff, so I could probably get you in there at a good cost. But Attorney Tiny Nebo talks about not just how to get a franchise, but how to actually become one. Mm-hmm. And so I think there may be franchising or some sort of model where it's an affiliate thing or a wholesale thing where he's got affiliates that can sell the hot sauce and he gives them to them at a discount. I know that's a good way to move products. Like with Dr. Claude Anderson's books, we've done that. We've done that with Tariq Nasheed's movies. Let's say Tariq's movie is $20. We buy them from him for maybe 10. Mm-hmm. And then we resell them, at the retail price and can make a margin there. So, and that's a standard model. Like Amazon does that, like with my books and a lot of people's books.
Yeah.
So I think maybe something like that might also work too. What you want to probably avoid is like trying to go restaurant to restaurant. I don't know if that's going to be efficient for your time. You got to find some way to market to a lot of people in a lot of places at one time. And direct to consumer is better sometimes than trying to go through restaurants, unless you're talking about a gigantic chain. Like you go to, if you get Denny's to pick it up or something, then that's a different story. But if you're going to like one restaurant at a time, it's going to take you forever, in order to do that. So thank you, man. It's very good talking to you, brother.
All right, you too.
Yeah. By the way, John, I see that you're in the Black Business School. And what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to enroll you in the franchise class. So that's my gift to you. You're now officially enrolled. I just added you in there. Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, I'm about to get out of here, guys. So please have a good night. And I hope that this was informative for you. I really enjoyed talking to you. And you'll hear from me soon. If you haven't signed up for my stock market investing class, feel free to take a look. It's blackmoney102.com, or you can go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. I teach you everything you want to know about investing in the stock market. You will be an expert when you're done. Just got to watch the videos. That's it. So theblackstockmarketprogram.com. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day. I love you.